Well, thank you very much to the next Vice President of the United States, JD Vance. He's doing a great job. You know, they go after JD. You know why? He's for the worker. He's for people that get out and they want to work. And frankly, they are people that have been taken advantage of, and he doesn't like it, and he's done great. He's done great. He's been everything we could have expected and much more. So, JD, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And thank you to Atlanta. I'm thrilled to be back in the great state of Georgia. I love Georgia. With thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. Crazy Kamala, ultra-left, you know that. She was here a week ago, lots of empty seats. But the crowd she got was because she had entertainers, and it all started to unfold when they started to leave about 10 minutes into the speech. It was very boring. I don't need entertainers. I filled the stadium because I'm making America great again. That's our entertainment. That's our entertainment, making America great again. And I have to tell you, we have thousands of people outside. And the state was terrific, but the fire marshal, I will say, could not have been better. Thank you to the fire marshal. But the school administration stopped us from getting another 500, 600, even 1,000 people in. Thousands of people were told no, and that was okay, but we could have fit another 600 people. So I don't know anything about the school. But they could have allowed more people. You got people standing outside. Look at all the people outside. They could have come in. So we're not happy. Hello out there. And then they actually pushed the people very far away from the building where we have beautiful cameras set up for the overflow crowds. The administration of the school. So, I'm not sure if I'm going to be sending anybody to this school. I'm not happy about it. If they're going to stand in the way of admitting people to our rally, just imagine what they're going to do on Election Day. We're not going to let that happen. 94 days from now, we're going to win the great state of Georgia in an epic landslide. And we're going to defeat crazy Kamala. You know, there's about 19 different ways of saying it. She only likes 3. Biden never even came close. Kamala. No, it's Kamala. We're going to evict this radical and incompetent administration from the White House. They're destroying our country. We're going to save our country. We're going to save our country. Yesterday, it was announced that unemployment is surging with 350,000 Americans joining the unemployment rolls just last month. Tell you what, we could end up in a depression. We could end up in World War III and a depression. How about that? Could happen, too. Under Harris-Biden policies, we now have the highest unemployment rate in 3 years. Just came out yesterday. Even I was surprised. Those numbers were terrible. If Harris wins this election, you will quickly have a Kamala economic crash. You're going to have a crash. You could also have a crash like in 1929, more specifically, because that's where we're heading. When we win, you will rapidly see a brand new Trump economic boom. It's going to be booming like it was 4 years ago. With your vote, inflation will stop. The illegal aliens will be turned back. They're not coming in. We got to stop them. Did you see where she's now saying, oh, we had a very good border. Oh, great. They had the worst border in the history of the world. It's all misinformation. That's all they're good at, that and cheating on elections. They're very good at that. The cartels will be crushed, crime will plummet, incomes will soar, the wars will end, and the American dream will come roaring back, bigger, better, and stronger than ever before, right? Yes? Thank you. But with 4 more years of Kamala, the California socialist, you know, she destroyed San Francisco. Then she destroyed the whole state. Look at what's going on in California. With your family and our country, it'll never recover. If you have any more time with these people, it's already, I'm worried about the next 3 months, if you think about it. These people are grossly incompetent. You'll end up in World War III, I'll tell you. And I hope I'm not right about that. You know, do you ever see the hats? Trump is right about everything. I don't want to be right about that. Her policies of open borders and double-digit inflation, inflation like we've never seen before. It's destroying middle-income families, working families, all families. Will demolish your life savings. 40 or 50 million illegal aliens will invade our country during the next 4 years if they're in. 40 or 50 million. Medicare and Social Security. You know, she said she wants to put everybody on health care. You know, that's wonderful. It's all wonderful. First of all, they shouldn't be told to come here. Many of them were fine where they were. But no country can sustain this. Social Security will buckle and collapse. The suburbs will be overrun with violent crime and savage foreign gangs. That's what they're doing. You know, they're sending all their gangs into the United States, right? Look, there's front row Joes. You didn't get into the front row. What happened to you? What happened? Thank you. We have front row Joes. They've been to 229 rallies. And then, look at these people. These, I call them the beautiful ladies, and you're not allowed to say that anymore. It's the end of your political career. You say beautiful. You're barely allowed to say ladies, right? Because that could also be destructive. But they're beautiful, they're ladies, and they're great. And they've been to 216 rallies from North Carolina. They look great. Happily married. I got to talk to their husbands. I don't know. They're way over 200 rallies, and they're incredible people. Thank you very much, by the way. Thank you. Appreciate it. Together, we will stop Kamala Harris's nation-wrecking. I'll tell you what, when you see what she's done to our nation, she's wrecking our nation. The radicalism will take back our country from the worst administration in American history. Biden was the worst president in the history of our country. She's acknowledged to be the worst vice president in the history of our country. She doesn't have a clue. You know, if she doesn't have a teleprompter, she can't even speak. Did you see her the other night? They put a camera in her face. She can't even talk. We just went through 4 years. Let's not go through another 4 years. Can't talk. No, it's terrible. You know, by the way, I'd like to congratulate Vladimir Putin for having made yet another great deal. Did you see the deal we made? Now, look, we want to get people in. You know, we got 59 hostages. I never paid anything. They released some of the greatest killers anywhere in the world, some of the most evil killers they got, and we got our people back. But, boy, we make some horrible, horrible deals, and it's nice to say we got them back, but does that set a bad precedent, Bert, right? Does that set a bad precedent, Bert? Harris has the most ultra-left-wing agenda of any presidential candidate ever in history. There's never been anybody like this. She is considered more left-wing than crazy Bernie Sanders. Look at her. She's worse than Bernie. And she happens to be really a low IQ individual. She really does. She has a very low IQ. We don't need a low IQ. President Xi of China said, oh, good, we have another one, a low IQ individual. They love dealing with low IQ. They love dealing with low IQ people, and they got them here, I'll tell you. We got them all. She is terrible. She's worse than he. I think she's worse than him. By the way, they really took it away from the guy, right? I don't feel sorry for him because he's a bad guy. You know, he's weaponized the whole thing, and nobody's ever done that in this country. But he's a bad guy. But people feel sorry for him. They did a coup. He just doesn't know it. But actually, he does know it. You know that. They said, Joe, you got 14 million votes. It's yours, but you're going to give it up. You're going to give it up right now, Joe. You're giving it up right now. No, I'm not. I was elected democratically. I was elected. No, you're giving it up, Joe. We're either going to do it the nice way or the hard way, Joe. You're getting the hell out. And it was the debate performance. So here's what happened in the debate. You know, there was the highest rated debate ever, and which was a great compliment. And as I left the debate stage, I took off because other people were entering the stage. You understand. I said, I don't want to confront other people. So we had a great debate. But as I left, CNN, I won't say who, but they said that was the single greatest debate performance I've ever seen. And this went on for 2 days. They were saying how great I was. On the third day, they didn't mention that anymore. They said he was terrible. I liked it the first way better. I made him choke. Don't kid yourself. We made him choke. He was choking like a dog. He was choking. He was choking like a dog. And that was the end of him. I mean, that was the end from that. Then they said, okay, this was a disaster. So then they started doing interviews with people that are, 100% bought. The media, the fake news media, they had some people interviewing him, like George Slopadopoulos. ABC. ABC's one of the worst, by the way. They're all sort of bad when you get right down, but ABC's bad. And they're asking him hardball questions like, where did you stay last night? Did you think you did well in the debate, even though you could? Did you ever see a guy in the debate, they give you like 2 minutes to answer, and you want to use up, you got so much fertility in there, you want to use up every second, and he'd answer a question. You have 92 seconds left. And I kept saying, I'll take them. And he said, you have 92 seconds left. He goes, this is not what he wanted. He left a lot of time on the board. But I went right down to the last second. I didn't want to go a little bit over because I know they'd cut me. They would have cut me. But they were very fair, actually, CNN, shockingly, honestly. They were very fair. They want to do another one. We're doing one with Fox if she shows up. I don't think she's going to show up. She can't talk. She can read a teleprompter. I'd give her about a 6 on a scale of 10, 6. For talking, I'd give her less than a 1. We need people that can talk. Kamala pledged to give free taxpayer-funded health care to all illegal aliens. How do you like that idea? Which will destroy Social Security. She called for the abolition of ICE. Listen, ICE, I know some people here. 2 of them are really tough guys. They're fighters. They're vicious people. They're good, tough people. They don't want to work for ICE. ICE will go into a pack of MS-13 killers and thugs. And for about 2 minutes, you just see fists flying back and forth, and then they stand up and they win, and they grab them, they throw them in a paddy wagon, they get them the hell out of the country. And she's calling them the equivalent of KKK, okay? And she loves deadly sanctuary cities. By the way, all of the things you're hearing now, she's now denying. But, the one good thing about the internet, you press a button and you got it. Although they are trying to delete everything. They changed the picture of me from a couple of weeks ago, and they really radicalized it. They changed it, using AI. They changed it. They had all the people on the stage who were angry, and they were smart and sharp and very brave, and they had them all big smiles on their face. Can you believe that? They put the agents, who I have to tell you, say what you want, those people were brave. They were running to me, and the bullets were flying. The Secret Service, they were very brave. They were very brave, I can say. They were very brave. They were running at me, and they knew the bullets were going right over my head. At that point, the first one was not a good situation. Not a good situation. that was really something incredible. That was from God. That was from God. Because the chances, that was from God. For all of you non-believers, that one was for God, right? Boom. That was a close one. But I just want to say, Wallachia, though, they were very brave. They pounced on me. They pounced on me, and I heard those things whizzing over me. They were whizzing, and I have to say that because people take abuse, and there were mistakes made. There were mistakes made, pretty bad ones, but the bravery of that moment was incredible, and also that the sniper, the Secret Service, who was a phenomenal, talented shooter, one bullet from hundreds of yards away. If he doesn't hit his target, and he hit his target, boom. But from hundreds, if he doesn't hit the target, then you have Corey and a lot of other people that are dead. Corey was great. Two other great gentlemen, warriors, great Trump people. We love them. And they're really, we thought they were going to be gone too. The doctors were incredible. They did a great job, an unbelievable job. But if that sniper, and he had 5 seconds to think. He did not know about it beforehand, by the way. He had 5 seconds. He saw the flash, and he knew what that was. And within 5 seconds, he got off his shot. One bullet, think of it, one bullet, and that was the end. Otherwise, you would have had many people dead. He did a hell of a job. And that was from a very far distance. That was from basically about triple the distance. It was a much longer shot. So we want to thank him, and we want to thank all of the people in Secret Service for their bravery, because they were very brave. I mean, this was a bad thing. Very brave. But she refuses to even say the words illegal alien or radical Islamic terrorist. She says nope. And the main thing, think of this, she wants to let mass amnesty and citizenship. She wants all illegals to have mass amnesty. Everybody can. Even criminals, because many of them that are coming in are from prisons and jails and mental institutions, insane asylums. They hate when I use Dr. Hannibal Lecter as the late, great Hannibal Lecter. Oh, they go, look at all the media back there. Look at all the fake news. That's a lot of fake news. That's a lot of fake news, Bert. But she doesn't want to get involved. Look, here's a story. When a politician says something young in life, that's where they are. That's what they believe in. Defund the police, all the things that she said. That's where she would go if she ever got the chance. She's never going to get the chance. Our country will be destroyed. She's worse than Biden. She's worse than Bernie Sanders. She's Bernie Sanders, but not as smart. That's the way I view her. I said she's a dumb version of Bernie Sanders, and actually further left than him. She supports mandatory gun confiscation. I'm sure you wouldn't mind that. Would anybody mind if they came into your house and took away your gun or your guns? I'm shocked. I'm shocked to hear that. She's for taking away all of your guns. The problem is they won't take them away from the bad guy. The bad guy's not giving up the guns. The good guys are going to, oh, well, yes, ma'am, here's my gun, thank you. Now you're totally defenseless in your house. No, you can't do that. She said that a 70 to 80% tax hike is, quote, a bold idea that should be discussed. Oh, that's nice. She co-sponsored the $100 trillion Green New Scam. She wants to abolish all oil and coal and natural gas. We want to work on wind. We want to have wind blowing. She vowed to ban fracking. She wants the government to stop people from eating red meat. She wants to get rid of your cows. No more cows. No more cows. Oh, it's serious. You know, in Europe, you smile and you think about it. But in Europe, they're sort of doing it. They don't want any cattle. She wants to get rid of gas-powered cars and replace them with all electric. They don't go far. They cost too much. They're all made in China. Other than that, they're fantastic. And I'm for electric cars. I have to be, you know, because Elon endorsed me very strongly, Elon. So I have no choice. But he knows. No, I am for him. I'm for him for a small slice is a slice. But you want to have gas-propelled cars. You want to have hybrids. You want to have every kind of a car imaginable. They want to go all electric. And there's no way you can ever load them up. They call them loading them. You can't load them. We're going to have to spend $9 trillion in the Middle West. You saw they built chargers. Now, a charger is a gas pump with electricity come through. Is that good? So it's like for 8 chargers, they spent $9 billion. Is that a good deal? So at that rate, it would be $10 trillion to charge up the country. The whole thing is crazy, right, Mr. Preacher? She wants to get rid of 2 very special words to me, and I came up with this because I noticed when you went into stores, I used to go into stores, now I wouldn't want to go into stores because they have everything under lock and key. You ever see they have bars up, they have glass up? I don't know how you can do business like that. I'd like to buy a toothpaste, please. Oh, wait till the clerk comes. You know, 25 minutes. They open this heavy glass armored door. How the hell do you make money doing that? It used to be that if somebody robbed your store, you would be very tough about it, right? Now, Kamala started this. Anything under $1,000, you can do whatever you want. And these guys are sitting out there. You ever see them? They've got paper. Okay, go ahead. Whoop, that's over that. Drop that back. Put that. There's no crime if it's less than $1,000. She's the one who started it. She is a lunatic. She wants to get rid of these 2 very special words. You remember I used to bring it up all the time in 2016. By the way, we did much better in 2020 than we did in 2016, but these are minor details. We did much better. They said, what was the difference? I said, well, we got millions of more votes. You know, as you know that too. But we're not going to let that happen again. Ready? The 2 words are Merry Christmas. She doesn't want anybody saying Merry Christmas. Now she's denying it, and then they found the tape last night. She's such a liar. She denies all this stuff. She said, I was not the border czar. She was. The New York Times has a headline, border czar. She was the border czar. She was the worst border czar. She was the worst czar in history. Kamala's radical ideas belong in a San Francisco commune filled with far-left freaks, but they do not belong in the White House. They do not belong in the United States of America. This November, Georgia is going to tell Kamala that we will not let her turn America into a communist country. Remember I used to say, we will never be a socialist country. Well, I was right. They skipped socialism. I was right. It will never be a socialist country. I'd say that. State of the Union, I said, we will not ever allow our country to be a socialist country. I was right. It's gone communist. It skipped socialism. It never stopped. The train never stopped at the socialism world. The world of socialism, not a good one, but the world of communism is many times worse. Now that they've swapped out Biden, is he going to the Democrat convention? That's the big question. I'd like to go to watch Kamala get sworn in as they ripped it away from him. They took away his presidency. What do you think, Mr. Congressman? You had a very good speech. Didn't he make a good speech? What do you think about ripping away their socialism there? What do you think about ripping away the guy's presidency, right? No, it's not democracy. Remember the words they use? They are a threat to democracy. They've been saying that about me for 7 years. I think I got shot because of that, okay? People said, he's a threat to democracy. No, I'm the one that is saving democracy. It's true. They're a threat. Thank you. Wow. That's nice. Thank you, Marjorie. No, we're saving democracy. Wow. I'm going to use that more often. I've never used that before. I'm always hitting them. I should say instead, I'm going to save democracy and get a nice big applause. It is true, though, certain phrases get amazing response, like, I will keep men out of women's sports. Now you find out I'm right. I used to use the barbells. I thought, now all you have to do is look at the boxers. This young girl from Italy, a champion boxer, she got hit so hard she didn't know what the hell hit her. It's a person that transitioned. He was a good male boxer. Yeah. He was a good male boxer. And she didn't even go down. He hit her with 2 jabs, and she said, I'm out. How crazy is it? The weightlifters are great, though, because they put a quarter of an ounce here, a quarter of an ounce here. And she goes, by the way, First Lady of the United States hates when I do this. She says it's so damn unpresidential. I said, but the people like it. Right, Marjorie? She doesn't like it. She's a very elegant woman. She doesn't like it. Should I do it, Marjorie? So, no, our First Lady, she said, you know, your speech was great, but this weightlifting thing is so unelegant. And please don't imitate him not being able to find stairs, because every time you do it, they say it was you that couldn't find the stairs. Sure. I'm very careful, because the press is among the most dishonest human beings in history. They know. Bruce knows. The great Bruce Lavelle. Stand up, Bruce. He's been with me from before I ran. He was with me in 2014, saying that guy in New York should run. He'll be great president. That was long before I even read. I didn't even know about it. I think you might have convinced me to run. I don't know. Some of these people, you know, some people have been with me long before I ran. They would say, Trump should run. That we had Romney. Remember Romney? And they did polls. Romney and Paul Ryan, what a combination that was. Whoops, there we go off Fox. Fox just won. No, Paul Ryan's on the board of Fox. What a mistake that was. But they had Romney and Paul Ryan. What a team that was. They got clobbered. They got clobbered. The choice in this election could not be more stark. On the one hand, you have a radical left freak. You have a candidate who is fake, fake, fake. On the other hand, you have a president who will fight, fight, fight for America. Fight, fight, fight. I will, I promise. I will. By the way, the fire marshal, I love him. Could the school people allow, there's some seats right up there. They could let him come in. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. Let the people come in. They're standing outside, thousands of them. Let them come in. It's obviously, Marjorie, a very liberal school, I guess, right? I'm not happy with the school. Let them come in. They're standing. It's 95 degrees out. Let them come in. There's some seats. But they got thousands of people. They won't let them in. A Harris presidency. You know why? Because they don't want to show that we're successful. That's all it is. They don't want to show. She has to go get entertainers. They start leaving as soon as she opens her mouth. Well, Hillary used to do that, too. I remember she got Bruce Springsteen. I'm not I'm not a huge fan. I have a bad trait. I only like people that like me. Does that make sense? And these people like me, Bert, right? These people like me. No, Hillary used to do it all the time. She got the idea from Hillary. Hillary got Bruce Springsteen, I'll never forget. And the place was pretty full. Not full like our places are full. And I don't have a guitar. I don't have a guitar, but our places are bigger. We get more people than anybody. I don't care how many guitars they have. You know, in New Jersey, we had 107,000 people come. Nobody has that. Nobody. In Alabama, we had 68,000 people. In South Carolina, we had 82,000 people. That had closed up the whole state. We even did one in the South Bronx in New York. Rough place, but boy, it was love. 25,000 people. It was love. It was love. But I'll never forget that Hillary, and they were all saying, oh, she drew, 25,000 people or something. Then he finished with the concert. She starts speaking, and everyone's leaving. I said, that's not working out so good. That's not working out, right? But I don't know. You have to be real. If people show up, people show up. But to do that, I don't know. There's something pretty phony about it. But she had somebody. Who did she have? Who was the entertainer that she had, Yeah, that's what I think. By the way, the entertainer couldn't fill the place either. Even with the help of the school's trying to get students, please go. This is embarrassing to us. Please go. No, wasn't Hillary a beauty when I campaigned against her? She said, look at him, just look at those words he uses. He will start wars. No, I had no wars. I got rid of ISIS, 100% of ISIS, but that was already started. I was the one that had no wars, first time in 80 years. In California, Harris was the original Marxist prosecutor. She was in the role of Fannie Willis. Has anybody ever heard of Fannie Willis? You know, Fannie Willis is a good friend of your governor. You know that? Your governor. I'm not a fan of your governor, but she was in the role of Fannie Willis or Larry Krasner, George Gascon, Alvin Bragg of New York. Oh, he goes after me. He goes after me because of the Justice Department. Never happened before. The DA of San Francisco, Harris, shielded illegal alien crack dealers from deportation. She wouldn't let them be deported. She fought like hell. She wouldn't arrest criminals of the worst kind. She wouldn't arrest murderers. She wouldn't arrest anybody. The state has gone to hell. Gavin Newsom is the worst, one of the worst guys. Gavin Newsom. But she was the one that started it. She ruined San Francisco, ruined California. As California Attorney General, she defined and redefined child sex trafficking, assault with a deadly weapon, and rape of an unconscious person raped as nonviolent. These were nonviolent crimes. We shouldn't even prosecute these people. To help spring child predators and dangerous criminals out of prison all over the state. And during the left-wing riots of 2020, you saw that, she urged her followers to donate to bail rapists and murderers out of jail while saying that the violent mobs should not stop. They should not stop. She said she was endorsing to fund the police, and she said, violent mobs, let the violent mobs keep going. Let them keep going. We love what they're doing. We love what they represent. This is the lunatic that the fake news is trying to build up to be the next Margaret Thatcher. You know, 4 months ago, she was considered grossly incompetent by the fake news. Now they're saying, oh, isn't she wonderful? Isn't she wonderful? No, she's not wonderful. So we have to work hard to define her. I don't want to even define her. I just want to say who she is. She's a horror show. She'll destroy our country. For years, she has pushed legislation to strip police officers of any protection. They have no protection. Anything they do, they get sued, they go bankrupt, they lose their house, they lose their family, they lose their pension. They ruin their lives. They want to ruin their lives. She was the worst at ruining police officers. And by the way, I have the endorsement of virtually every police organization in the United States. Almost every. And when I'm president of the United States, again, we will never defund the police. We will only overfund. We're going to overfund the police if we have to. I will always give our law enforcement heroes the protection, resources, and respect that they so dearly deserve, and like other Marxist DAs. And she was the first of them. She was horrible. She was horrible. She had a very good friend named Willie Brown. I liked Willie Brown. He knows more about her than anybody's ever known. He could tell you every single thing about her. Could tell you stories that you're not going to want to hear. Like other Marxist DAs, Kamala supports abolishing cash bail, which means bloodthirsty criminals that just killed somebody can immediately leave custody, go out and kill somebody else, which, by the way, they often do. Under these kinds of woke, radical left policies, Atlanta is like a killing field, and your governor ought to get off his ass and do something about it. Just a few weeks ago, 2 13-year-old boys were murdered and an 11-year-old was shot while sitting outside their house in southwest Atlanta. In June, a 47-year-old man, a 69-year-old woman, and a 70-year-old woman were shot in the middle of the day, shot right through the head in the food court of Peachtree Center. What a nice name. In downtown Atlanta, where you can't even walk anymore. The shooter had been previously arrested 11 times, but they think it was 24 times. He'd gone to prison for assault and armed robbery many times. Since I was president, aggravated assaults in Atlanta are up 17%, and there's a 20% increase in shoplifting and a 90% increase in overall crime. Murders are up massively. Murders, you go to the store, I want to buy a loaf of bread, darling. You come back, ma'am, I'm sorry, but your husband's been killed. He went for bread across the street. He's been shot to death, ma'am. Nationwide, there's been a 43% increase in violent crimes since I left office, including a 58% increase in rape, 89% increase in aggravated assault, and a 56% increase in stone-cold robbery. July 4th weekend in Chicago, 117 people were shot. 100, I'm not talking about I'm talking about shot. Not aimed at and missed, but I can guarantee you that number was big. But 117 people were shot. Of the 117, 17 died. Many are going to be incapacitated. They're going to be working for the rest of their lives just to move. Many are paralyzed. Many of those people are paralyzed right now. Nobody ever talks about that. So 117 people shot, 17 died, many very seriously hurt for the rest of their lives. If Kamala wins, it will be crime, chaos, and death all across our country. We're going to have just the opposite. You know, it's up to the governors and the mayors to run things, but with Minnesota, which was a disaster, Minneapolis, the crimes. You remember the CNN reporter? This is a friendly riot. Oh, please, I'd rather not use the word riot. This is a friendly get-together. And behind him, the whole city is burning down. Remember that? Remember, it was like the flames were going like for miles. And then he got hit on the knee with something. I think it was a hand grenade that didn't go off. Remember him with the shaved head? Ding, 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 shaved his head. How do I look? Great. Then he goes down, a hand grenade hits him. How do I look, darling? Oh, you look great. They call it the summer of love, remember? They took over Seattle, 20%. If I didn't have the soldiers ready to go that morning, that Seattle would still be occupied. They actually took over a large percentage of Seattle. Portland, what they did with Portland. You know, I was in the real estate business. I love storefronts, beautiful bronze. I love bronze and beautiful everything. Storefronts, so beautiful. In Portland, you know they have a storefront? Their storefronts have been so decimated, they use old 2x4s with a wooden door. No glass, no windows. It's the worst looking avenue I've ever seen because, and I spoke to people that have shops there. They don't have them anymore, they've all fled. But the few people that remain, they have wooden storefronts made out of old lumber. And they said, no, anything we put up, including this, will be knocked down the next time, and it happens on a weekly basis. And nobody does anything about it. If I didn't bring out, they knew the military was coming in the next day in Seattle, if they didn't know that, and they fled, they all said, oh, it's about time to get it. You know, when they were doing monuments in Washington, Marjorie knows this, I got an old bill, because I doubt we could ever get Congress to pass one like this, and they were trying to rip down monuments, and then it was Abraham Lincoln. They were going to rip down the monument to Abraham Lincoln. They were ripping down other monuments. They didn't care who it was. They just wanted to destroy our country. And I took this old bill from 1889. Today, you wouldn't have the guts to sign a thing like that, although they should. They should make it even tougher. And it said, if you desecrate or even touch a monument in any way, shape, or form, you go to jail for 10 years, and there's no shortened sentence. There's no shortened sentence. There's no, like, you get 9 years off for good behavior. No, it's 10 years, and you're not allowed to even do that. No judge is allowed to do it. In fact, it was so old when I had I'm saying, this is an old sucker. This thing is old. But I reinstituted it. It was so severe, frankly, that they didn't use it. And then I had a press conference, remember, and I announced anybody. And people were, you know, doing lassos of those gorgeous horses and all the things up there. And yet you saw it the other day. They were doing it again in Washington, D.C. with spray paint into limestone and granite. You know, the limestone, it's a very porous stone. I was very good at this. I was a builder, as you may have heard. And the limestone, that paint goes in there, sucks. In 100 years, you'll see that. There's nothing you can do. It just goes right in. It's very, very porous. It's sand, basically. Beautiful sand, beautiful lions, beautiful monuments, the bells and everything. Desecrated. And I wonder what happened to those people. Probably nothing, right? Probably nothing. What they did tremendous damage. They did tremendous damage. But so I announced this bill, and the bill, I had a press conference to announce it. And I said, 10 years for anybody even touching any of our beautiful monuments. You know what happened? It was a beautiful sight. I saw thousands of asses, only the back, walking out of town. Some were running. They didn't want to do anything. They just wanted to get the hell out of town. And that was the end of the problem. We didn't have any more problem. We had no more problem after that. There was no problem, and that was the end. You didn't hear about it after that, Mr. Congressman, did we? Collins, good speaker he is. He's got a future. Does he have a future, Marjorie? I don't know. Got the look. He's got the hair. Good job. I watched. Good job. We will restore law and order to America. We will bring back public safety to the great state of Georgia, which is doing very badly in that way. And on day one, we will seal the border, stop the invasion, and send the illegal aliens back home, and we'll do it very quickly. Right? For 3.5 years, Border Czar Harris, and again, she refuses to acknowledge that she was the border czar. She was the worst manager we've ever had, ever. And by the way, all of the people in charge of the border, they've all endorsed me. They said he was the greatest president we've ever had. Tom Homan, you know, Brandon Judd, all of those guys, they've all endorsed me. And they said, she's the worst. I mean, it's hard for them to say that, but, you know, they said there's never been anybody so incompetent. For 3.5 years, Border Czar Harris has allowed terrorists and criminals to pour across our wide-open border. And now she's denying it. You can't fall for it. Disinformation. Deny for a year. We'd never done. Nothing happened. We were great. We were so tough. And some people will start to believe it, you know. They used the word brainwash. Did you ever hear the word brainwash? Mitt Romney's father used that word. It wasn't good when he used that word. It destroyed his career. But they were brainwashed. Some people they hear it over and over again, how bad they were, and they say how great a job they did. They did great, they did great. They say it again and again, and all of a sudden people, and don't forget, it's not their main thing. They're accountants, they're lawyers, they're taxi drivers, they're carpenters, they're electricians. They hear it over and over again. All of a sudden they say, she was really great on the border, wasn't she? No, she was a disaster. She has destroyed our country. We're going to bring it back, but she has destroyed our country. She's incompetent. They're coming from South America. They're coming from Asia. They're coming from Africa and the Middle East, from prisons and jails. They're coming from all over the world. They're not just coming from South America. Everyone thinks, oh, South America, they want to vote. It's Spanish, and they're going to like. By the way, we are doing better with the Hispanic population, I think, now than they are. So that's not working out too well. But they're coming from all over the world, not just South America. They're coming from the Congo in Africa. A lot are coming from the Congo, from prisons. Where do you come from? The Congo. Oh, what's your address? We live in prison. What did you do? Murder. Oh. Welcome to the United States of America. It's lovely to have you. The only good thing is, I say this all the time, these people are so violent and vicious that are being brought into our country. They're so violent, so vicious, that they make our gang members and bad people and criminals look like the nicest people on earth. So when we see an MS-13, some person now, we say, well, they're not that bad. These are the worst people anywhere in the world coming into our country. They're coming in at levels that nobody's ever seen before. There's nothing good about it. There's nothing can be made of it. And they're actually trying to get them to sign up and vote. They don't even speak the language. They don't even know where the hell they are. They want them to sign up and vote. And we have the head of our great Republican Party here, and he is not letting it happen wherever you may be. Right? Wherever you may be. Doing a great job. You know that, right? They're coming in, and they're trying to sign them up. Because I used to say, like, only two reasons this could be happening. They hate our country, or they're stupid. Well, they're not stupid, because anybody that can cheat on elections that good is not stupid. And they do, I really believe they do to a certain extent hate our country, because, you know, why? But I never really talked about the third reason, because it's so sinister. But they want to sign these people up to vote. And if they do that, this country is destroyed. We've become a dumping ground for the entire world, and we're not going to take it anymore. Just a few months ago, right here in your state, I met with the devastated family, what a beautiful family, of Laken Riley, the brilliant 22-year-old nursing student, topper of her class, who was out for a jog on the campus of the University of Georgia when she was assaulted, beaten, and horrifically killed. Her family was, I mean, look, they'll never be the same. Incredible family. Kamala Harris let in the savage monster who murdered Laken Riley. He was an illegal alien who was in Border Patrol custody, but under Harris's policies, instead of being deported immediately and fast, he was set free into America. Please enjoy your stay. Laken's blood is on Kamala Harris's hands, and she was in charge of the border. But there are many, many people like that. Laken is not the only one. Kamala is responsible for the death as though she was standing there watching it herself. She was responsible, and for so many more. 3 days after releasing Laken's killer into the United States, Harris went on television and lied to the American people, saying the border is secure. Quote, the border is secure. What kind of a politician lies to Americans about keeping the border open while precious young girls are being assaulted and killed? And Laken is one where the press was, I mean, very strong on it, but there are thousands of people that are being killed and being criminalized and victimized by these people that are pouring into our country. I call it migrant crime. We now have migrant crime in our country. It's a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime, and it's vicious, and it's really bad. Kamala Harris should not be asking for your vote. She should be begging Laken Riley's family for forgiveness, and Joe Biden never would mention her name. You remember when Biden wouldn't mention her name, then all of a sudden, because Laken was really, I mean, that was a big deal. That was a very horrible, just horrific. And he wouldn't mention her name, and then he finally did it, and he called her the wrong name. Lincoln, right? Called her Lincoln. Good coach, Lincoln Riley. Good coach. Maybe that's where it came from, but called her Lincoln. And he was so bad. Such a bad precedent. Such a bad president, and precedent was set by having him as a president. He was a disaster for this country. You get angry talking about it because it's almost impossible to believe you can be that bad. You know, people like certain people, and I understand it. They could have different beliefs, different policies. Like Ronald Reagan, he had something special about him. There was an aura, right? I didn't agree. I didn't agree with him on trade. I didn't think he was as good on trade as he could have been. Could have been tougher on trade. But he had something special. They all, they have. But this last group, there's nothing they have. They have nothing. I call him Crooked Joe for a reason. He's crooked. I also call him Sleepy Joe. He's sleepy. He's sleepy. He's crooked. He's incompetent. He's dumb. And she's worse. She's worse. If Harris wins, a never-ending stream of illegal alien rapists, MS-13 animals, and child predators will flood into your communities. If I win on day one, we will begin the largest deportation operation in American history. Have no choice. We have no choice. No country can sustain this. We have no choice, and we will immediately expel every single criminal that Baltazar Harris has allowed into our country. No country can sustain it. In a recent CBS poll, 62% of Americans support large-scale deportation, and others are saying it's 83%, 85%, including 53% of Hispanic voters because they see what's happening. By the way, the Hispanic voter and me have like this special relationship. I understand them. They're very entrepreneurial, very smart, but they also understand security better than anybody. And they don't want to have murderers released into our country. They don't want, it's very interesting. When I built, I built massive amounts of the wall. The wall was incredible. We built it, and hundreds of miles of wall, and they wanted it more than anybody because it worked. You know, remember I used to say two things work. You know, everything else is obsolete after two. You do a new computer, in about 3 weeks it's totally obsolete. Nobody wants it. Two things have never been obsolete: wheels and walls. Wheels work and walls work. And you have a lot of different things becoming obsolete, but the wheel and the walls work. Harris wants to be the president for criminals and illegal aliens. I will be the president for law-abiding Americans of every race, religion, color, and creed. And it's no wonder the Democrat Party and their thugs are so desperate to stop us. They know that we are the only ones who can stop them. We're the only ones who are going to be able to stop them. Nobody else is going to be able to stop these lunatics. All of their persecution of me is only happening because I am running for president and leading very big in all of the polls. If I wasn't running for president, I could be vacationing next to one of the many beautiful oceans of the world as the waves come in. Beautiful, but it's boring. I'd rather be with you, figuring out this mess that we've gotten ourselves into. We're going to figure it out. We've got it figured out. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now we have two things we have to do. We have to vote, and we have to make sure that we stop them from cheating, because they cheat like dogs. I don't know if you've heard, but the Georgia State Election Board is in a very positive way. This is a very positive thing, Marjorie. They're on fire. They're doing a great job. 3 members: Janice Johnson, Rick Jeffries, and Janelle King. 3 people are all pit bulls fighting for honesty, transparency, and victory. They're fighting. Are they here? Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? Thank you. What a job. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. But we have a couple of other members that aren't so good. We have some that aren't so good, but these three are really doing the job because they don't want to see this happen. That will destroy our country. They just passed a rule for Georgia elections requiring that 3 people at each precinct independently count the total number of ballots before certification. Who could be against that? Who could be against it? Thank you, Janice, very much. That's really amazing. Thank you all. Thank you all. Those are great people. I'd say brave, but I mean, to you, it's like that you got to do what you have to do, right? It's not like a question of brave. They said I was brave 2 weeks ago. I had to do what I had to do. It's not like brave, right? It's just we do the right thing. Go. Thank you. My courage was contagious. Well, your courage is contagious, too. Thank you. Thank you. Nice. It's amazing. People want it. That's what they want. Thank you, Janice. That's great. And those 3 people are incredible. Let me give you the bad news. It's that for whatever reason, Brad Raffensperger and Brian Kemp, your governor, who I got elected, by the way. If it wasn't for me, he would not be your governor. I think everybody knows that. He's a very disloyal person, isn't he? Very disloyal. But these 2 are doing everything possible. Plus, your attorney general would like to see him show up and do something. Right? I mean, look at the love and adulation and applause, because this is like a poll. This is like a poll. We have thousands of people. That's better than going out and paying $500,000 to have some pollster go out and poll 212 people. Look at this. Look at the love they have for Janice. That's what people want. They want to have honest elections, and they want to have strong borders, you know? Very simple. But your governor, Kemp, and Raffensperger are doing everything possible to make 2024 difficult for Republicans to win. What are they doing? I don't know. They got something in mind, you know. They got a little something in mind. Kemp is very bad for the Republican Party. He wouldn't do anything. You know, we have Burt Jones over here. We have Burt Jones. All he wanted in the Senate was to have a special resolution passed, and it was all done. Every senator wanted it. Every Republican wanted it. And we have Senator Beach here someplace, too. Where is Senator Beach? Oh, I can't forget him. We can't forget him. A warrior, you know that, and many others in this group. But all they wanted was to have just a special, we want to go over the election. We want to look because there's too many things. And the governor wouldn't sign it. And I knew he would because I got him elected. I sent a young guy over to his office. Would you please have him sign this? And the kid came back. He said, sir, he won't sign. Of course he will. I got him elected. Give me a break. Of course he will. No, he wouldn't. And then I said, well, go back over. Tell him it's for me. It's a good thing, not a bad thing. They want to look into possible election fraud. Wouldn't you say, Senator, that's a good thing, right? They want to look into election fraud. It comes back, sir, I said it was for you. This was a few years later, after I won him the election. Don't forget, I endorsed him, and you had a very good man, Casey Cagle, your lieutenant governor. He was going to win easily. And David Perdue, where's David? I love David, but that was his only mistake. He said, sir, would you endorse a friend of mine, Brian Kemp? I said, who's Brian Kemp? He said, he's a friend of mine, sir. And Sonny came too. This was probably the only mistake of David's life. That was a beauty, David. Thanks, David. I appreciate it. And I endorsed this guy. He was like way down on the list. He was doing terribly. And he immediately, you know, my endorsement means a lot, and I'm very careful with it. And I endorsed him, and he won in a landslide. And then he said, I can't I can't beat Stacey Abrams. I can't beat her. She's going to be too tough. And she felt that too, by the way. She still feels it. You know, she's constantly saying she won the election. She can say it, but I'm not allowed to say it. I'm not allowed to say it. And Michaela, I love you, Michaela. I'm in love with Michaela. Please explain that to Melania. Please explain that to our First Lady. You're fantastic. Now, you are a special person. But I endorsed him, and then she said, I can't beat Stacey Abrams. He said that, and his wife said it too. I said, well, you won the nomination, so let's do some big rallies. And I did them out at an airport, massive rallies, 55,000 and 52,000. There may have even been a third, I don't know. I remember 2 monster rallies. And I said, you're going to win. He said, I don't think so, sir. I said, no, you're going to win. I'm telling you. I can tell the vibe of the people. I'm like, I think, David, 287-0 in the last 12 months with endorsements. People respect my endorsement, and I respect them, and I love them. I love them. But so I did these 2 big rallies, and he won. He did win. He won by like 2%. And his wife looked at me and said, thank you, sir. We'll never, ever be able to repay you for what you did. You got my husband the nomination, and then we beat somebody who was unbeatable. You know, she was, in theory, unbeatable. She was the hottest politician in the country at the time. Democrat politician, I would say I was hotter because I was president. So I was hotter than her. I'm only kidding, Marjorie. I'm only kidding. Although maybe I'm not kidding, actually. No, she was like the hottest, certainly the hottest Democrat politician in the country. And she was going wild for years. She's still going wild. She can't even believe it. But I got him by doing massive rallies. And I really worked hard. He's the most disloyal guy I think I've ever seen. But think of the wife. We can never repay you for what you've done, sir. We could have never won. And now she said 2 weeks ago that I will not endorse him because he hasn't earned my endorsement. I haven't earned her endorsement. I have nothing to do with her. Somewhere he went bad. And you know what? Your numbers in Georgia are very average. Your crime numbers, your economic numbers, all of your numbers, you're very average. You can do a lot better, and you'll do a lot better with a better governor. You can do a lot better, just so you understand. But I don't want her endorsement. I don't want his endorsement. I just want them to do their job for Georgia. And you know what? He's the governor. He ought to support his Republican Party. Because if he's not, if he doesn't have his Republican Party, I could tell you where he came from, and it wasn't good. And you have a great leader of the Republican Party right here. Stand up, please. He has done an unbelievable job. And he has to work like hell with a governor that doesn't help him. And Raffensperger ought to make sure that the vote is honest. And they don't want the vote to be honest. In my opinion, they want us to lose. That's actually my opinion. And we can't let that happen. Because if we lose Georgia, we lose the whole thing and our country goes to hell. Because we can't have her be president of the United States. She's grossly incompetent. We can't let that happen. They're the ones, don't forget, who got Phoney Willis and her lover boy boyfriend all jazzed up. This guy, the governor, you know what? She's an embarrassment to the state of Georgia. He's the governor of Georgia. He ought to do something. Many, many people, their lives have been, forget about me, many people, I'm used to it. It's true. I'm used to fake crap that goes on with these politicians. But many, many people, their lives have been destroyed because of phony, F-A-N-I, phony. You have to pronounce it phony. It's called Fanny. You have to pronounce phony. I don't know how she gets. She should add a little U in there someplace if she wants people to call her. No, her and her lover, right? Lover boy Wade. She hired him because of experience. Paid him almost $1 million a year. For experience. He's got great experience. He never did a thing like this in his life. He knew nothing about it. The only thing he knew about was something else. He knew about that. That's all he knew about. He didn't know a damn thing. Do you know him? Have you ever met him? Yeah, a couple of times. You ever see the phone records, phone calls being made at 3 o'clock in the morning, like every single night, phone call from her house? And he said, no, not well. I don't know her well. No. And this governor, I assume, I don't know, he could straighten it out because his state has become a laughingstock over it. And you know what? I love this state. I won this state twice, in my opinion. Once I won, and I did much better the second time. And Bert knows it, and Beach knows it, and everybody else knows it. He could have ended the travesty with a phone call because I did nothing wrong, and neither did all of those good people that are being persecuted. People in their 80s, they signed something, you know, because they see what's going on. I guarantee if I took a vote of this audience, if I said, what do you think? I won't do that. You know, they'll come and indict you if you say that, right? Now, they can say it. Stacey Abrams can say that she won the election, is fine. But if we say we won the election, and we did, that's not fine. We can't do it. Hillary Clinton is still complaining about the election, even though she called me up that night and conceded. But Hillary Clinton is constantly complaining about it. Nothing happens to her. We have two sides of justice, and we can't do it anymore. We have to get back to making America great again. We don't have time for this nonsense. I mean, phoney wanted to indict a certain U.S. senator who had nothing at all. He's saying, why are they calling me? I won't use his name because I don't want to hurt him. But she wanted to indict, and somebody along the way stopped her from doing it. She had many, many more people. She was going to indict almost everybody that came into the state for a visit. But Kemp doesn't want to end it because he's a bad guy, he's a disloyal guy, and he's a very average governor. Little Brian Kemp. Bad guy. But think of it. I got this guy, just think, and then that's it. I got this guy nominated, I then got him elected. Without me, he doesn't get nominated and he doesn't get elected. He had no chance of winning either one, and all he had to do is sign something where the Senate would like to look at election integrity. This is an honest man. That's an honest man. They were all honest. They were looking at something very legitimate. And this bad guy said, I'm sorry, sir. I can't do it. I called him, and I said, Brian, they're looking at election integrity. Is there anything you can do? I'm sorry, sir. I can't get involved in that. I said, but, Brian, you don't understand. This is a good thing, not a bad thing. I'm sorry, sir. I can't get involved. I've had you up to here, Brian. I've had you up to here. He's a bad guy, and he's not doing this country a good service. People are looking at Georgia with phoney and her lover and all of the other things, saying, what the hell is going on in Georgia? What the hell is going on? The radical left Democrats rigged the presidential election in 2020, and we're not going to let them rig the presidential election in 2024. Every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communist fascists indict me, I consider it a great badge of honor. I do. Because I'm being indicted for you. You know, my father and mother are looking down. They were great people. They're saying, my son got indicted like 4 times. Al Capone didn't get indicted 4 times. He would kill you if he didn't like your look. If you looked at him in the slightly, that's a nice shirt. Scarface, Al Capone, the most evil man. He didn't get indicted like Trump. I got indicted for what? I'm protesting an election that was rigged. This guy didn't get indicted. My father would say, but Alphonse Capone didn't get indicted. He killed hundreds of people. If he took you out for dinner, even you, see you two guys, would you stand up with the MAGA black, please? Stand up, please. Look at these two guys. Who the hell is going to mess? Who's going to mess with that? MAGA black. MAGA black. I love them. I like them better than you, Bruce. Now, those are 2 tough cookies. But if Alphonse Capone didn't like you because you insulted him slightly at dinner, that was the end of you fellas, I have to tell you. And he didn't get like me. Think of it. How crazy is the world? And thank you for being here. You're good-looking guys, better looking than Bruce, I'll tell you right now. Much. Stand up, Bruce. Never forget, thank you. But never forget, our enemies want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. And in the end, they're not after me, they're after you. I just happen to be standing in their way. So I want to introduce a few warriors, if I could, please. And they're incredible people. They really are. And, you know, every night I do this where I get in trouble because I'm always leaving somebody out. I'm leaving a congressman out. I'm leaving a guy. It's brutal. So I end up going on the internet and thanking him, and I love him and all the stuff, or her. But, you know, it's always tricky. But I know these are people that are here, and I want to just thank them for joining us. Your great Lieutenant Governor, who's really great, Burt Jones. And his father is here. You know, his father's a legend he's a legend, literally, in Georgia as an incredible politician. And then he left. He didn't lose. He left, and he went into business, and he's been tremendously successful. He really is a legend. His name is Bill Jones. Does anybody know Bill Jones? Bill? Where is Bill? Good. I saw him backstage. He's fantastic. Representative Mike Collins. Thank you, Mike. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Where is the preacher that was back there talking to me? Where is he? Huh? Because he went with your father. Oh, your father's smart. I always said that. Stays with those preachers. Rick Allen and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Thank you, Rick. Thanks, Rick. Great job, Rick. Thank you, Marjorie. You know, I've known Marjorie from the beginning, and she's an amazing political person. I don't like to say politician. She's beyond that. She's really loved and respected by so many people. And in Washington, when she calls, they get very nervous. Oh, please. She's fantastic. So I thank you both for being here. Appreciate it. And a future congressman, he'll be one of your best. He's been with me for 8 years. And, you know, he always wanted to be a congressman. Then his district opened up, and he said, do you think I could do it? I said, you have my complete and total endorsement. Brian Jack. Brian Jack. Great guy. He's going to be a great congressman. And it's what he wanted to be. And he's fantastic. You guys are going to love Brian, right, Marjorie? You're gonna... Also, we alluded to him and talked about him, but I'm going to talk about him very positively. He was really a great senator. He was a great man in so many different ways. He was respected more than anybody. I mean, everybody respected him in Washington. Very successful businessman that he ran for office, a little bit like the Trump schedule of events. But he was really a fantastic person in Washington, somebody that I was very close to, David Perdue. David, thank you. Doug Collins, will you stand up? Come on. How good was this guy? That's fantastic. See, I'm glad I spotted him. I would have been in big trouble if I didn't mention him. I'm glad. You know, they give me a few names. Who the hell writes these lists out? These people, somebody's getting me in big trouble. It wasn't that way when I had Brian Jack doing this, I'll tell you. I got lucky. And I see somebody that I know very well, one of the truly great members of the Martin Luther King family, one of the greats. Will you please stand up? I didn't see you. My friend from the beginning, I would have been in such trouble. If I didn't mention you, I would have been in big trouble. Thank you, darling. One of the truly great people. And been with us from the very beginning, I would say, right? Very beginning. Thank you, darling. Boy, am I glad I'm looking over this audience. I don't like this. I'm telling you, this would not have happened if Brian Jack were doing it, which he did for many years. Agriculture Commissioner has done a fantastic job. Tyler Harper. Tyler, thank you very much. Fantastic. Thank you. And John King, Insurance and Safety Fire Commissioner. John, thank you. Great job, John. Labor Commissioner Bruce Thompson. Bruce? Thank you, Bruce. Public Service Commissioners, Bubba. I love Bubba McDonald. I love that name. I want to change my name. And Fitz Johnson. Thank you both. Thank you both. And Alveda. Good. They did have your name down, Alveda. I would have been in trouble if I didn't pick, but I picked it even with. And Richard Wood, Superintendent of Schools, who I hear does a great job. Richard, thank you. Thank you, Richard. Pastor Benny Tate of the Rock Springs Church. Benny, thank you. Bernie Carrick. Does anybody know Bernie Carrick? Where's Bernie? Stand up, Bernie. He's the cleanest man in this room. You know that. Bernie's a great guy. He was a great commissioner in New York. He's a fantastic man. A well-known local artist with a beautiful painting, Art Lanta. Where is Art? Oh, wow. That is beautiful. I wasn't going to bring him up. Then I saw the painting. I said, come on up, because maybe he'll give it to me. Wow. Come on up. That's okay. Is that good? Wow. Thank you very much. Wow, that's fantastic. Wow. Whoa. Good. That's a real artist. I brought him up because I thought he was going to give it to me. He didn't give it to me. He just got me to sign it. I got nothing out of that. Hey, Michaela, I know you spoke. Just come up for a second. Come in. This young woman, I walked into, I don't know what the hell restaurant it was, but I walked into this restaurant, and we do it very quietly. We don't announce it. That's for, security reasons, everything. I walked in. She's behind the counter, and she didn't know I was coming. And she goes, it's President Trump. She looks at me. It's President Trump. You saved my college. And I said, how the hell do you know that? She said, this one is so smart, so sharp. She grabbed me. She gave me a kiss. I said, I think I'm never going back home to the First Lady.
You were supposed to keep that quiet.
See, now, for the average politician, that's death. For me, I don't care. I just want to tell you, you are an unbelievable person with a great personality. You lit up the whole room. You lit up the whole room. I said, weeks later, I'd go, who is that person that was so incredible? She knew everything about me. She had no idea I was coming. She knew everything about me. And, the historically black colleges and universities I gave millions and millions, billions of dollars to. They kept coming back, and I said, why are you doing this? And we gave them long-term funding. And she knew that because she said her college, she loved her college. She said it was so great, right? You loved it.
The illustrious CAU.
Yeah, that's right. She loved her college, and she said, you saved my college. What was your college? Tell them.
The illustrious Clark Atlanta University.
And it was so impressive, and I felt so good because she really did. She really said, I said, did you like the college? She said, no, I loved that school. I loved that college. And that's what it's all about. But you are an incredible person. I think you have a tremendous future. I really do. And I'll do whatever I can to help you. Okay? Thank you, Dan. Thank you very much. Great job. You want to say something else?
Man, you know, I thought I was done. But I do want to add on to some of the remarks that were made by others, and we do need to do our best to get the message out there. The fight is nothing if all we do is talk about it amongst ourselves. So with that being said, since you said you'd help me, shameless plug, if y'all need anybody to knock doors, make phone calls, wave signs, get people out to the polls, call me at Conserve the Culture. Because not only do I mobilize the HBCU students so that they may get this message, but I'm the best person when it comes to black engagement in the black community. And nobody needs this message more than my folks. So do y'all care for real? Are y'all with us for real? ConserveTheCulture.com for any and all inquiries. Y'all can follow me at Miss Kayla, baby. I'm going to give it back to Big T. Last thing, make sure you guys tune in to my podcast dropping soon on the Patriots Prayer Network. Thank you all.
She's great. Thank you. That's a great person, great woman. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. From the moment we take back the White House from Kamala and Crooked Joe, and he's crooked as a $4 bill, I believe we're going to have the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. Starting on day one, we will end inflation and make America affordable again. We're going to make it affordable again. Thanks to Kamala Harris's tie-breaking vote here in Atlanta, you suffered the highest inflation of any city in the country last year. Good job, Governor. Great job, Governor. Under Kamala, the typical Georgia family has lost $28,000 in inflation and to inflation hikes. To bring down the prices of all goods, we will stop the Biden-Harris war on American energy. American energy is such a big deal. We will drill, baby, drill. We'll get that number down. We'll bring energy prices down. Everything else will float with it. We will terminate the Green New Scam, and I will end the Biden-Harris electric vehicle mandate right on day one. It will be ended. We will pass massive tax cuts for workers, and that includes no tax on tips, Michaela. To further protect Georgia workers, I will revoke China's most favored nation's trade status. I will pass the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act. If China or any other country makes us pay a 100 or 200% tariff, we will make them pay a reciprocal tariff of 100 or 200% right back. You heard us, we heard you. It's an eye for an eye. We'll take in a fortune, and they'll stop doing it before I even arrive at the Oval Office shortly after we win the presidency. I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled, and I will prevent, and I'm the only one that's going to do it, 100% will prevent World War III, which is very close to happening. I will restore peace through strength, and in my next term, we will build a great Iron Dome missile defense shield over our country, a dome like none other, like nobody has ever seen before, and it will all be made in the USA, and much of it will be made in the great state of Georgia. And I will not cut 1 cent from Social Security or Medicare. I kept that promise 4 years ago, and I will keep it again. And seniors will not pay taxes on Social Security. We are going to rebuild our cities into beacons of hope, safety, and beauty better than they have ever been before. We will take over the horribly run capital of our nation in Washington, D.C., and clean it up, renovate it, rebuild our capital city so there's no longer a nightmare of murder and crime. We're going to stop the murder and crime. You go down from your state, you end up getting mugged, murdered in our capital. It'll be run tough and strong by our great police officers, but rather, we will become the most beautiful capital anywhere in the world. I could say again, but it's been so badly run for so long, I almost don't want to say again. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto the shoulders of our children. And I will not give one penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. And I will keep men out of women's sports, if that's okay. If Kamala Harris gets in, the travesty that is taking place at the Paris Olympics will come to America when we host the Los Angeles Olympics. And by the way, which I was president, we happened to get it. I was the president. I also got you a thing called the World Cup, which is coming very soon. I might as well say it myself because nobody else will say it. But I got them both, and you're going to have a lot of fun with it, I hope. Harris is a radical trans activist, and she is the candidate of letting men beat up women in the name of tolerance. But you look at what's happening over in Paris. It will never happen here. I will never let it happen. I will get all males off your daughter's soccer teams and volleyball teams and get them out of your locker rooms once and for all. That's going to be cleaned up, and we will fight to make sure that the LA Olympics protects women and protects girls. I will fully uphold the Second Amendment, and we will protect innocent life, and we will restore free speech in our country. We don't have free speech any longer. And very importantly, I will, and this is so, to me, so important, what we've been through in this country, I will secure our elections. Our goal will be one-day voting with paper ballots, proof of citizenship, and voter ID. But until then, Republicans must win. We want a landslide that's too big to rig. Too big to rig. If you want to save America, get your friends, get your family, get everyone you know and vote. Vote early, vote absentee, vote on Election Day. Do whatever you want, but you have to vote. And if you want to help us ensure election integrity, please sign up, protectthevote.com. Protectthevote.com. So, in conclusion, from Marietta to Macon, from Savannah to Columbus, from Augusta to right here in Atlanta, we inherit the legacy of red-blooded American patriots who gave their blood, sweat, and tears to defend our country and defend our freedom. We stand on the shoulders of American heroes who crossed the ocean, settled the continent, tamed the wilderness, laid down the railroads, raised up those great, big, beautiful skyscrapers, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and made America into the single greatest nation in the history of the world. But now we are a nation in decline. We are a failing nation. We are a nation that has lost its confidence, lost its willpower, and lost its strength. We are a nation that has lost its way. But we are not going to allow this horror to continue. Less than 4 years ago, we were a great nation, and we will soon be a great nation again. With our leadership, every disaster Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have created can be fixed, and it will be fixed very quickly. Every problem can be solved, and every wrong can be rectified. By this time next year, America's borders will be strong, sealed, and secure. Inflation will be in full retreat. Our economy will be roaring back. It's going to be roaring back. Optimism will be surging. The American dream will be thriving again for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. Law and justice will reign all throughout our land. Freedom will be restored. The flame of liberty will be burning bright. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, the worst administration in the history of our country, will be a fading memory of the past. And our great silent majority, including the once forgotten men and women of our country, will be the one shaping America's magnificent future when I am the 47th President of the United States. Because we are all Americans, and together we will show November 5th to be the most important day in the history of our country. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God, and together we will make America